got two audience tonight.
right? So, um, so Google Docs. Usually, I haven't done a workshop on this because I know the IT department covers Google in their workshop, but we're doing this a little different. We're using it. This workshop is more towards a little bit of pedagogy, but not only pedagogy, but how to use it as an educator. I think that when they do the workshops, it's mostly about this is what Google is and this is how you can use it. So in this case, I'm coming in with the perspective as a teacher and how you would use it for a course. And the reason why I like using Google Docs, the number one reason is because, as you all know, in Blackboard, if you upload a document to Blackboard, any changes in has to be done in Blackboard, and so that's it creates um, a lengthy process of having to edit the document, then change, remove it, and then uploading it. And so that is something that you're in this workshop. I hope you take away and as saving you time, right? So now, if you do have a Google document, hey, I have one of your students here, Lorenza, at the door,
Who?
waving at me, saying hi. I forgot his
Asalia?
name. The other one, not Asalia, the
Glenn.
other. Yes,
Glenn.
glad.
I haven't seen him this semester.
Well, he just came by saying hi. I should tell him you're on the call here. But
Mhm.
um, so that's the number one reason, right? Because again, I'm always about saving you time as a teacher. I know you're busy with so many things, and so the number one thing, number one benefit of using Google is that it's going to save you a lot of time. So let me
Uh-huh.
share my screen so you both can see what I am talking about. So I'm going into my sandbox. And let's say if I go into the Unit 1 folder here. And so if I upload a document to my week 1 folder, so let's say I go here and then I do build content and I use item. And if I just, let's say if I do reading homework. And if I upload a PDF to Blackboard, let's see, do I have a good PDF I can use? I should have had one ready. Let's see, where?
I just saw one.
I have a couple, but I'm afraid to put something there that belongs to another professor. Let me
Ah,
just do PDF. Here we go. Let me pick here, this one. I guess this is okay. 5Ys PDF. And so if I click submit, so basically now I have this PDF in the Blackboard course. Let me just move it up to the top. But let's say this was a document that, let's say you needed to edit and and let's say you forgot to add something to the document. You see what I
yeah,
mean? How difficult it is to now
yeah.
edit because, you can't do that, right? It's a PDF and then now you're stuck in here. You have to then remove this, go back into your document, make the changes, save it, and then re-upload it back into Blackboard. So that takes up a lot of your time. But if you were to go to Google, if you go to your Google Drive, for example, I like to go through my email and then you click on the 9 little dots at the top right corner here.
Yeah.
And then if you go to Google Drive, and if you create a new document by clicking new, and let's say I wanted to create a Google Doc. See how you get all the options here? Google Doc, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Forms. So everything is here for you. So let's say I do
Yeah.
Google Docs, and if I say, and let's say I give it a name, I call this the 5 whys. Right, and so now here, let's say here number one, say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then if I do share, which is up here in the top right corner,
Yeah.
and so this part right here is tricky because you want to make this available to your students. So what I like to do is I change it from Fashion Institute of Technology. I make it to anyone with the link, but you can leave it Fashion Institute of Technology. But the problem with that is that your students have to be logged into their FIT email address for them to be able to open this document. And I know that some students don't like to log into their FIT. So this is up to you as a teacher. You decide whether to
Yeah.
leave it at this one or this one. I don't mind leaving it to this one because it's still under students still have to log into Blackboard, so it's still protected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I just want to deal with students who don't like to log into FIT, and then they're like, "Hey, professor, they're requesting access. They start sending you request access to the document because they're not logged into the FIT account. And then once you do that, you click done, or you can just copy the link right here, copy the link, and then click done. And then you just go back into Blackboard, build content, choose web link, and now I call this reading homework. The same title. I paste the Google link here and just click submit, and it goes to the bottom. But let me put it side by side so we can compare. All right, so this is the PDF, and then this one is the Google Doc.
Mm.
And so if I click here, reading homework, it will open as a Google Doc. But the beauty of this is now that if you ever need to make a change, you can just start typing there.
Right.
This is where your time is being saved.
Okay. So what happens, Jose, if you have a PDF and you have to
Yeah, it's a great.
copy it Google as a Google? You can't change PDF back to a Google. Because I don't know why sometimes I have a Google Doc and then I would save it into a PDF. I'm not sure that I see it in a Google Doc anymore. Or
Yeah,
maybe I do. I don't know. I forget.
that's a great question. So let me show you. So there's two
Okay.
ways. There's two ways
Okay.
to do this. So let's say like Lorenzo's saying, which is a perfect example. This happens a lot to faculty. It's just that they have a document, it's saved as a PDF, and they don't know what they can do with it because you can't. How do I convert it back into a Word doc or a Google Doc? So let me show
Right.
you this. If
Okay.
you go back to your Google Drive,
Okay.
and not many people know this. This is a nice trick to know.
Okay.
Not many faculty they don't know this. So let me show you a trick. So what you can do is remember that document we just uploaded to Blackboard. This one, the 5 whys, five
Yeah.
whys .pdf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 5 whys and I'm going to upload it to my Google Drive, and I'm going to show you how then you can convert it to then so that you can edit the document in in Google Drive. So let me show you that.
Okay.
So I go back to my Drive, and I'm using a Mac, but the same could be done on a PC. You can just go and search for that PDF that you're looking for.
Okay.
So I already know the name of it. It's called 5 whys. So let me see if I can find it.
I think it's a number.
Oh, it's a number? Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. That makes it easier. Let's see. Where are we? Is it? Oh yeah, 5 whys with an S. Oh, there it is. Okay, so see how I am still in Google Drive, but I'm also here searching for the actual file.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you can just click on the file, drag it, and you see how I'm just dragging it, and you see how the big blue box is being highlighted?
So you don't upload it, you drag it.
You can also upload if you like, but I'm showing you first how to drag it.
Okay.
So now I'm dragging it, and now you see at the bottom right corner, you see how it says upload complete,
Yeah.
5Y PDF. You can also do it this way, like you were saying, Lorenzo. You can click New, File, Upload.
Okay.
You can do it that way too, and there it is, 5Ys, and then just click on it, and then you see the same thing happens. It says, well, it's going to ask you, do you want to replace?
Oh.
It
Oh,
recognizes that you already uploaded it one time,
okay.
or you can keep both copies. So up to you if you know if it's the same file but it had the same file name but different you made a changes, maybe you want to upload both of them, you can do keep both, or if you just want to replace the old one with the new one, then you can do this one.
Okay.
I'm not going to, since I already have it there, I'm not going to upload it again. Now once you've uploaded that document to your Google Drive, this is where a lot of people get lost,
Yeah.
because now it's somewhere in here but I don't see it. Where is it? Like I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in here. It's like, so the way I do it is you can do two things. You can go to your recent,
Uh-huh.
which is right here on the
Okay.
left-hand side. If you click recent, there it is right here. You see 5 Ys.
Yeah.
Or on the top left corner here, you can just type in, if you know the name of the file, you can then type in 5 Ys and then search that way. So
Yeah.
you can click return, and then it's going to give you, oh, these are all the documents saved with the same title.
Okay.
So either way, you could do recent, or if you know the name, you can type it in. So now I'm going to show you how do I convert this PDF inside Google Drive. And not many people know this, that Google Drive, if you right click with the mouse, it gives you an option to say open with.
Okay.
That's the trick. This is really cool because now that this document was uploaded as a PDF, I'm going to right click on it, choose open with, and then I'm going to select Google Docs, which is right here. And so that is
Got
going to, what this is going to do, Lorenza, is this is going to make a copy of this document,
into a
and
Google
it's
Doc.
exactly. And so now you're going to have two versions. You're going to have the PDF version, and then you're also going to have the Google Doc version. Okay, so let's
Okay.
try it. Let's see how it
That's right.
works.
Mm-hmm.
Open with, and then I choose Google Docs.
Oh my God. Really?
And look at that.
Oh
Look
my
at
God,
that.
that's so great. Because I end up like doing whatever, typing it again.
Oh
Okay.
no,
Oh,
no.
this is so
Remember,
great.
remember we talked about saving time, and
Uh,
so I don't. That's what I want to save you guys, a lot of time. I don't want you
I've
having to read.
actually cut and pasted from PDFs, whereas in the past you weren't able to do that. But I think it's a recent, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't really cut and paste though by going on PDF.
Right,
I
right.
tried and it didn't work, so I end up typing it again, or I just like give
Oh,
up on it.
right.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
Now,
this is so good. Thank you. I'm so glad you can show this. I'm gonna try in one of my documents. I needed to edit a PDF and I didn't want to try it just yet.
but let me say though, sometimes there might be a PDF that you might have images and unique formatting, right? Let's say you have
Mhm.
a PDF document with unique formatting on it, and so sometimes that might not carry over well
uh-huh.
over to Google Docs. So just keep in mind, in this case, I only had text, so it was very easy for Google to convert it for me. Um, Here's another secret. I'm going to call it a secret, just make it much more enticing. Here's a
Okay.
here's a secret tool that I like to use. It's free. Um, you know, you can use it free. It's called PDF Candy. Let me show you this.
PDF what?
PDF Candy. If you do a Google search, PDF Candy, it's the first one that will come up. It's PDF
Okay.
Can, yeah, pdfcandy.com.
Okay.
I like to call it. I refer to it as like the Swiss knife for teachers. It's like, you know, it's like it lets you do
Oh,
so many things.
okay.
So this is another nice trick. And so look at this one: PDF to Word, Word to PDF, Excel to PDF, JPEG to PDF, PDF to J. I mean, it goes on forever.
It's so cool.
Look at that. So you can, if you ever are in the need of converting something, you can go to pdfcandy.com, and you know, if you need to go from PowerPoint to PDF, boom, you can do it right here. If you want to go to PDF to Excel, I mean, even strange stuff I've never seen. Like, what is this? Well, CHM. I don't know what that is. But you see how you can. You look at this. Even this one, Mobi. You know, if you have like a um, audio, not an audio book, but what do you call them? The Kindles, right? If you want to, if you have like one of those Kindle books and you want to convert that to a PDF, you know, that would be it right there. So it's
Fascinating. Is this free?
the it is. It is free. With the free version, I think what happened to me when I used it, there's a they'll limit you for I think 10 minutes, and then you can use it again, something like that. I remember.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but it's free. You see on the top it says free online PDF editor. Last time I checked, it stopped me from using it within 10 minutes. I had to wait and then come back, and then it works. But other than
Mhm.
that, it's free to use. Um,
Okay.
this is the one I was referring to, EPUB to a PDF, like one of those, you know, EPUBs, and then change it to a PDF. That's a good one. If you want to crop a PDF, if you want to rotate a PDF, which a lot of these things you can actually do in Google, but if you prefer using PDF Candy, this works as well. So that's another nice tip I want to give to you. Um,
Thank you.
oh, this is a really, really good one. PDF to OCR. You guys know what OCR is?
Where is it? Oh,
This one right here. So
mhm.
as all the schools are moving towards ADA compliance,
Oh,
it's mandatory now.
Mm.
So if you have a PDF that was scanned from a book, that is not ADA compliant, because if a student is either blind or, you know, has some disability, and they're relying on a PDF reader, a screen reader, if you take a picture of something, let's say of a book with text, the picture doesn't recognize that those character that they're characters, so the reader will now read to the student those characters. So
oh, I
what
see.
this does, yeah, so this takes that image of the book and converts the text so that the screen reader can actually read it to somebody who's deaf.
Interesting.
Huh. Is that similar? Remember there was a PDF/A. Remember, does that ring a bell, Jose? Where I guess students who couldn't open PDF files, they could open the PDF-A files. Is that still around? Does that make sense to you? Am I ringing a bell here?
Yes, you are. That's a
Uh,
great segue. That's a great segue. So let me show you what, because Blackboard can also do that for you. So that's over here, that little A, alternative formats. So, so for something like this, on this document, the 5 whys, you can click on this alternative formats, and it will convert the PDF for you to either HTML, EPUB, electronic braille. It can even convert it to an audio file for you by clicking on MP3. So I think this is what you're referring to, Pamela?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I honestly, I had to do it for online classes elsewhere, and I never really understood. I thought PDFs were kind of universal for no matter what system, and yet they had to be PDF. I think it was a /A.
Hmm.
But okay, I mean, if it doesn't sound familiar, maybe it's not in use anymore, which makes sense to me because, again, I thought PDFs, if you could see them, could be opened on any system.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct. And Blackboard loves PDFs because with PDFs, if a student clicks on a PDF, it opens automatically, like this, right? The student doesn't have to download it to their computer to be able to open it.
right,
PDFs open automatically in Blackboard, which is a good thing because if you do PowerPoints or Word doc, it's kind of frustrating for a student who doesn't have, let's say, I mean, they should own, because the school does give away Microsoft Word,
right.
but they have to then download it to the computer. Then once they download it to the computer, they got to click on it, open it. But again, I'm always afraid that students might not have the software to open it, and then there's always a big problem. Whereas a PDF, it just opens automatically
Right.
on Blackboard.
So one more question, and this is a little off topic, but your red little, I don't know, odometer off to the side. So why would that be considered not easy accessible, or as it says? How come it's low? I
Yes,
know
that's a
this is
great.
this is a completely off Google. I'm sorry, the Google
Well,
page
no,
is
it's,
back.
it's a good point because it does connect with Google. So whenever
Okay.
because with Google, remember with Google, the file, in this case, this file right here, it's external. It never really enters the Blackboard system, and that's why it's not being flagged with accessibility issues. So in a sense, you're kind of sidestepping the checker, the
Mm-hmm.
accessibility checker. So that's a good point because Google allows you to avoid the accessibility checker, whereas in this case, you're uploading it to Blackboard, and that's why it's marking it as a accessibility. And so for us to find out what is the issue, we have to click on this red indicator. So if I
Right.
click on it, it's going to let me know, oh, the PDF is untagged, right? And so with the accessibility checker, the whole idea is that a student who has a disability doesn't have a different experience or they're not missing out, you know, they're not missing out from something in the class. And so what this means is that this document is not tagged, and this is why it's flagging it. Um, and to get it tagged, you can use either Adobe Acrobat or Pave, which I like to use Pave. There's another tool you can use. It comes in handy. It's called Pave, Accessibility Checker, Pave.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then to correct it, I just go to Pave, click on the link. Oh, it looks like it's not working. Is it working? Let's see what's going on here. Oh, yeah, okay, here we go. Start Pave. And then I just upload the document this way, the 5 Ys. And then right away, it'll tell me this is not tagged. It gives me all the issues. You see that? Language is not specified. Title is missing. Um, and so I can fix these issues simply by going through these tabs here, and I give it a title. This is much easier because it pretty much does a lot of the work for you. So I click save. I can save that. This looks pretty good. This is good. So everything looks good. So I'm just going to click save. So now I would just have to re-upload this document, and I should get a better score now if let's see. Let me download it. So now I'm going to download the 5 Ys. Okay, there we go. Uh, did it download? Oh, I don't have Acrobat on my computer. I just want to save it. So, but this is how you would fix something like that, with Pave. And then you would download the document by clicking here, and then just re-upload it. But I want to stick more. I want to stick to Google. But if you have any, I can always give a little tour, or if you ever need a one-on-one with Pave to fix any accessibility issues, um, definitely let me know. I'll be happy to. Um, the other thing I want to cover with Google Docs, and this has become something that a lot of faculty have requested and asked me for, is that they have PowerPoint, they have PowerPoint or Google Slides, and then they don't want the students to have the ability to download the PowerPoint files because they're afraid of, might go to Course Hero or one of those websites where students share, materials from their courses. So let me show you that real quick, that how to do that. And this is mostly for faculty who teach with PowerPoint slides. So let me show you real quick on how you can do that, and then publish a PowerPoint slides into your course and not allow students to take it or take ownership of your PowerPoint slides. So let me use, I guess, this one here, Handbook, Media Handbook Chapter 3 PowerPoint. So the same thing applies here. You'll go into your Google Slides, your Gmail. You click on the 9 little dots next to the FIT logo, and then you go into Google Drive. And from here, we do the same thing again. Now, you can drop a lot of your documents into your Google Drive, but I recommend that you create a folder so that all these files are not floating around, because that could get really messy. So what I recommend is go and click on the new button at the top left corner and create a folder. And then in that folder, give it a name. And let's say you're teaching, let's say art history, HA 112. Also, add the semester in which you're teaching, because that will make it easier for you to find in the future, right? So let's say I'm teaching HA 112 Spring 2022, and I do create. And so now I have a folder, HA 112 Spring 22, and I can actually upload files directly there. So let me go into that folder, double click on it. And as you can see, I'm in my drive, then I'm in HA 112 Spring 22. Now I can begin to drag or upload my files directly into this folder. So let me do that. Here is the Chapter 3 PowerPoint that I'm going to use. I can just simply click and drop it in there. Now the same thing can be done here like we did before. I can do a right click, open with. Notice this is a PowerPoint file, and I can tell because it's an orange P. Also, I can tell because over here it says PowerPoint type. But if I want to convert this PowerPoint to Google Slides, I can just do the same thing we did before, right click on the document, do open with, and notice that one of my options there is Google Slides. So if I do Google Slides, notice that the logo changes from a P to like this yellow icon. And if I go back, I can show you now that I have two files. I might have to refresh. Wait a second. Yeah, so here it is. So now this is so now I converted it from a PowerPoint to a Google slide. So I thought the copy would be here, but it might be in the recents. So when you make a copy, of when you convert a document. It might go to the recent. Let me double check real quick. Oh, strange. But as you can see, now I have two copies. This is the Google Slides, and then I also have the PowerPoint. Now, keep in mind that if you're converting from a PowerPoint to Google Slides, some of the features, if you were using transitions or if you're using some kind of special effect, you might lose those effects as you're converting it from a PowerPoint to a Google Slide. So keep that in mind. Also, it tells you here at the top, some PowerPoint features can't be displayed in Google Slides and will be dropped if you make changes, right? So just a heads up that might happen. So you might want to go through your slides and check to see that everything looks fine. Okay, so now that I have my PowerPoint slides converted to Google Slides, the next step is you go here and you click File, and then you go scroll down to Publish to the Web. Right, so I click Publish to the Web, and we're going to choose Embed. Right, we're gonna get these slides embedded into Blackboard. I'm going to switch from medium to small because I don't want it to take up too much space on my Blackboard page. So I'm going to choose small. Disregard this part here, auto advance. It's not going to auto advance the slides. The students will have to do that themselves. So just disregard this. It doesn't make any sense, this part right here. And then after you change the size to small, you can go ahead and click Publish. Then it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to publish this selection? Go ahead and click OK. And then it gives you this embed code. And this is what we need. We're going to copy the embed code. So I click Copy. And we're pretty much done with Google Slides from here. All we got to do now is jump back into our Blackboard tab. And now I have to select where do I want to put this, where do I want to embed this Google slide? So let's say I want to embed it right here in week 1. So you choose Build Content, choose Item, and let's call this week 1 lecture slides. Week 1 lecture slides. Okay. And we lost the HTML button once Blackboard was upgraded, and they changed it to this 2 little brackets. This is the source code. This is where you're going to click on and then paste the embed code. Okay, so this is now the embed code for the Google Slides. Then we click Save. And now you can see your Google Slides already there. And then you click Submit. And let's scroll down to the bottom. And there you go. Now we have our Google Slides directly on your Blackboard course, and students can change the slides simply by clicking on the arrow to the right. And there is no download button, so students cannot download these slides.
Can they enlarge it?
Can they make it bigger?
Yeah.
That's a great question. The only way.
Remember those 3 little dots?
Let's see.
Enter full screen.
Oh, there we go. Yes, thank you, Lorenza. So there you go. That's how they would then enlarge it.
It works for you. Does it work for all of us now?
It should.
Did they fix it? Remember how I'm having such an issue?
I did speak to the people at SUNY, so I would go back and check because I had them fix a lot of the problems. I remember you were telling me some of those issues. I did speak to them and had them fix. So maybe now, if you go back, Lorenzo, and check and let me know. If it doesn't, if you don't have that little 3 dots, let me know, and I can always go back to them and talk to them.
So Jose, if you have a recording, can you do this? Remember how I do everything in VoiceThread? Let's say you have a record. Well, I guess you.
Oh, a recording? Oh, that's a good question. I haven't tested that. I did test the links. Links do work. If you do have, let's say, a link here, they should be able to click on it. The recording, that's a great question, Lorenza. I don't know. I can check.
Okay, but this
I,
works, like, okay, I think I do this in one of like, Meet the Teacher, but I think now that is a good way if you don't want them to download your slides, right?
oh, yes, of course. Of course. A lot of faculty now are finding that they're finding that their material is here on Course Hero. I don't know if you're familiar with Course Hero. Let me show you.
Yeah, I have my documents there too.
Oh, right. You see, so a lot of teachers are realizing that students are uploading. You see here, like if I do Fashion Institute of Technology, I bet I can find a lot of stuff here. Professors, Fashion Institute.
I know what I'm doing later. I go looking for my PDFs later because I haven't done it in the Google Slide embed. Uh-oh.
But yes. So if you're also what I recommend too, if you don't want your students doing this kind of thing, they're taking it and these companies like Course Hero, they're making money from your material because it's a subscription based model that students have to pay to get access to a lot of these, like quizzes, exams, midterms, finals. And so students are paying for access to these. And so if you want to, prevent that from happening, this is one way where you can upload your slides and make it a little bit difficult for students to then download your slides. And then also recommendation is on your syllabus, you can put a blurb in your syllabus and say something like, all of the materials that are in this course belongs to belongs to the faculty. You'll be held liable if I find that materials being sold or something like that. Some disclaimer on your syllabus letting them know that they're not allowed to upload your content to websites like Course Hero. There's a couple of others. I'm forgetting the names of the other ones right now, but there's a couple out there. And so I would recommend putting that blurb in your syllabus so that students don't do this.
Okay. So Jose, on the new LMS, I'm sorry, I forgot what I haven't tinkered around with it yet. I'm assuming all of this embedding will be also, be just as accessible to do. I'm sorry, I forget what the LMS we're going to is.
Brightspace.
Brightspace. Thank you so much. All of this could be applied to Brightspace because I honestly haven't looked at it quite yet.
Correct. Yeah, everything that we're talking about today will be you will be able to do the same with Brightspace. Here's a sneak peek of Brightspace. If you are interested, we can always. I think Tammy sent out an email for anyone who wanted to create a sandbox and play with it.
Yes.
So,
You did?
but
I thought. Okay.
yes, I can forward you the link, Lorenza, if you want it, so that you can create a little sandbox and start playing with it.
Yeah, because I thought they just sent the one for the first class or something like that. I didn't see a sandbox.
Sure. The first thing I did was I took my Blackboard course and I uploaded it to Brightspace just to make sure that's the first thing I want to make sure that works is that can I copy my course from Blackboard to Brightspace, and it carried over really well. The only problem was that once I copied it over to Brightspace, I had to move things around a little bit. But other than that, everything copied successfully, and I just had to move things around.
Oh, great! That's awesome.
Yeah, so this is how it looks like. You get like a little. Everything is kind of like I can't say it.
Yeah,
It's like
compartmentalized onto one
compartmentalized.
onto
Right.
the home page, right? Yeah.
Exactly. it's like segmented, right? On the top, you have your all the content here, all the assignments here, all discussions here. But you also get, it is segmented at the top, but then you can still have it here set up the same way like you would in a Blackboard course, where you can say week 1, week 2, week 3, and everything could be, the homeworks and the assignments and the videos can also be in the folder. So students have two choices. They can either go the compartment version or everything, in folders. So that's really nice about Brightspace, is that you get those two styles of presenting the content. You get the compartmentalized version, and then you'll also get the folder that has everything for that week, in one. So that's really nice to have in Brightspace. So that's Brightspace, and the same will apply if you are using Google Documents. You can also do the same that we did today. You can, if you are going to have a course calendar, you can have the course calendar saved in your Google Drives like this. Let's see, I'll show you my course calendar. So here's my course, this is my example, my course calendar, right? And so these are the dates. And this is something I highly recommend you do, especially if you teach an online course, because again, a lot of people who take online courses are parents or people that are working full-time jobs. So they need to know when things are due. So having a course calendar allows them to print out this document and tape it to the wall, and then they can, they, looking at the paper, they know when things are due. But when we deal with dates, we all know that dates change. So again, another reason why Google Docs will work best is because if I change this date to the 27th, it will automatically reflect in the Blackboard course, right? So that's why Google Docs is pretty amazing, because it centralizes your documents in one place and is saved in the cloud. So anytime you make a change, the change will automatically reflect in all the courses that you teach, that you have this document embedded in. So if you were teaching multiple sections of the same course, and all those sections are linking to the same course calendar, you only need to go here and change this date once, and that change will reflect on all 3 sections of the same course. And again, that will save you time and frustration dealing with Blackboard and having to edit the document directly in Blackboard. You're going to have to go into Blackboard, remove it, make the changes, go back into your course, upload the document. So that's a lot of steps. Whereas here, all you're doing is you're going into your Google Docs, make the change, and this will automatically reflect into your Blackboard course. Okay. The last tip I wanted to share is that you can also create a Google folder. Let me show you that. So if I do a Google folder and I call it HA112 homework assignments, where did it go? Let's see. See, sometimes it's hard to find, so you just have to type it here, HA112 homework assignment. And there it is right here. So you can tell it's a folder by the icon of a folder. So now what you can do with this is you can actually create a document, drop in all the necessary documents that you're going to share with your class inside this document. Then you can share this folder with your class in Blackboard. And now students will have access to this folder that has all these resources for them to access. That's another way that you can use Google Docs for your course, is creating a repository or a folder that has a lot of documents, and then you get the link and then you copy the link. Remember, always you can change this restricted to anyone with the link or anyone with Fashion Institute of Technology. That's for you to decide, but you either have to do FIT or anyone with the link. In this case, I'm just going to go with anyone with the link. Then you copy the link, click Done, go into your Blackboard course, build content, choose web link, and then I can say here, homework assignments. Paste the link to that folder, click submit. Now, any document I drop into that folder, students can click on that link, and they'll have automatic access to all these files that you'll drop into this folder. So that's a nice way to create a repository of documents in your Google Drive so that your students can simply click on that link and they can pull and grab whatever they need from this folder. You can also use this folder for students to submit their work in Google Drive or in Google Docs. So students can also upload their assignments into a Google folder this way. If you don't want to use Dropbox, this will be another way that you can use Google folders, Google Drive, for students to submit their work to you're still the owner of the folder, but you're giving students the ability to upload to your folder directly.
Nice.
That makes sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so
Yeah, thanks for the reminder.
yeah, I tell you, and
Shared folders, and then you can not edit, but you know, yeah, be sort of like their editor and comments right on there. I totally forgot about.
Oh, that is amazing. Let me show you that real quick. Thank you for bringing that up, because then, yes, if a student submits work here, you can leave your markup. Google Docs is really good at actually doing the markups. So
what's markup? Does that mean if you share that folder and they upload their work, they can see each other's work?
Yes, yes, that's a problem. Then you have to use Google. You have to use a Dropbox tool, because once you share a folder, it's like a community of, right? As a community, right? We're all have access to these files, right?
Right.
You can set it up if you wanted. You can set it up that the students can access the files from Google, from your Google folder. But if they have to submit the work, it could be through the Dropbox. That's another way you can do it if you want to, want to mix it up a little. For whatever reason, if that's something you want to do, you can do that way too. But Google Docs is pretty good at allowing you to do markups and correcting.
Sorry, is that a Dropbox within the Google Drive, or are you talking about Dropbox?
By Dropbox, I'm referring to this right here. When you do assessment.
Okay, yes, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So right, because then if you do it this way, then what Lorenza's asking is, if you don't want your students to be able to see each other's work,
yes,
then it'll be the Dropbox solution would be the best way, so that students cannot see the feedback that you left for another student, or or the markups or the grade or whatever.
Right. I mean, I guess you could take that folder and duplicate it, right? Once everybody's submitted.
Oh, yeah.
Duplicate, then markup, and then send them the link back to their own.
That's another way to do it. That's a great solution, Pamela. Yeah, that's another way. Yeah, you can get really creative with Google. Again, I also want to mention that as a Google school that we are, we also get unlimited uploads. But again, I don't know how long that would be. But as of right now, I know that there's no issue with uploading. If it's a big file, or it's as I say, a big video file, or whatever it is, students will be able to upload to that folder. There are no limitations on file size. Okay. The last thing I want to share is you can also put videos into your Google Drive. So that's another thing you can do if you want to. Although the only downside to that, there's some plus sides. There's some good things and bad things. The good thing is that you're not going to get those YouTube commercials and all that annoying ads. The downside is that you actually have to manually add the SRT files. So if I do have a video, I would just have to add the SRT file so that the video would, so the video is actually ADA compliant. Um, the last tip I'm going to add to this is also you can use Google Google Meet actually has live captioning.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're aware of that, but if you do Google Meet, it will actually caption in real time as you speak. So um, if you're interested in that, let me know. I can always show you how that works. So there's a lot of good things in Google. Always remember, you can go in through your FIT Gmail, the 9 little dots on the top right corner up here. And this is all the Google suite, right? We have everything here. You have docs, sheets, slides,
Jose,
calendar.
what do you mean
Mhm.
by SRT on the video? What is
So
SRT?
sure, good question. Thank you. I didn't describe that enough. The SRT file is the captions, right? The SRT file is basically the captions to the video. And
Ah,
so if you do put movies in Google Drive, let's say you record your lectures, it won't have captions. And so, as you know, a lot of the schools in the country all over, we're now have the we have to make sure everything's ADA compliant, right? And that's one of the biggest issues is that if you are going to put videos in your course, you have to make sure that your videos are closed captioned. And if you are going to put videos in your Google Drive, they're not going to have captions unless you add the SRT file, and that's the file that contains the closed captions.
okay, so I have to use Screencast-O-Matic. Not.
So
Or
exactly.
YouTube.
Or YouTube. If you want to make it easy, Screencast-O-Matic or YouTube are the easiest solutions. But if you want to stick to Google Drive, this is an extra step along the way that you have to make sure that you have to add the SRT file to that video in Google Drive.
Does Blackboard Collaborate has it too? Like when you're recording the screen, right? You can get closed captioned, or am I wrong?
Not Collaborate. Collaborate doesn't
Oh,
have it.
oh,
WebEx and Google Meet will do it for you.
okay.
So those two, if you go with Google Meet or if you go with Collaborate, Google Meet and WebEx will transcribe your videos for you automatically. Also, VoiceThread will do it for you, and Screencast-O-Matic and YouTube will do it for you.
Okay.
Also, if you have a lot of videos and you need them to be transcribed, let me know because we do have money aside for professional transcription service if you ever do need
Okay.
to get videos. Just shoot me an email, say, hey, Jose, I got like 20 videos and they don't have captions, and I can point you to the right direction and we can get your videos captioned for you that way.
Although, if you did do it in Blackboard or Collaborate and you took it over to YouTube, then it could be, you know what I mean, download it and then upload it into YouTube.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would do it for you. But
Yes.
the only reason why I mentioned the professional service is because, yes, you're right. If you do it through YouTube, it will do it. But depending on your, the way you speak, like for me, I would have a lot of corrections on my YouTube captions because I kind of mumble sometimes and I speak a little fast.
Okay. All right.
And so if if you notice that you uploaded your video to YouTube and there's a lot of corrections and you kind of like there's some funny things that are showing like when Jeffrey and I did our workshop and we did we did caption it to YouTube. It says something like Jose and Jeffrey are having a baby. You know, it was like whoa. You know,
Oh my God.
yeah, actually YouTube caption said Jose and Jeffrey are having a baby, and
Good.
Jeffrey, you know, they're like, you know, so this is an example of the funny things that will pop up, you know, on the captions. So always be aware that YouTube captions are not 100% accurate, and that if you are the type that are really um, meticulous as to how your captions come about, then the professional transcriber will probably be the best bet. And you know, I don't want you to spend an hour to 2 hours when you could be doing much more productive things and checking captions. Just let me know, and I'll be happy to get you that professional service so that you're not stuck with correcting your your captions.
Good to know.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Jose.
Sure. Thank you both for coming. I really appreciate that. And oh, by the way, here's a plug. If you get a chance, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of these videos on YouTube, and so we're trying to grow our how do you say, our following. So so
Okay.
you can
Well,
find.
I think I already do, but I'll double check.
Yay,
yeah.
Pamela.
we'll check. I don't even know that you had a YouTube thingy that I have to follow. Sure. So
Hey, yes. All of our workshops, I'm gonna after they're done, I just drop them in there because a lot of people don't get a chance to make it to the workshop, so I just put it there in case you missed it. Or if you ever need something that we covered a while back and you want to go back and check, they're all there. So feel free to go into our channel and look for things, or just email me. I'll be happy to
YouTube.
give you
Is
the
it FIS or what?
Oh, here, let me give you the link. It's right here. Let me grab it real quick. YouTube and FIT. Here it is. Share. How do I share this? My channel. I think this will do it. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat so that here it is. I'll put it in the chat.
Jose, I have a meeting with you, and I'm meeting with an online student.
Uh-oh. Try that. Let me know if that works, because sometimes I always find it difficult how to share a YouTube channel. It worked?
Yeah, it worked. I just followed it. I just subscribed to it.
Yay, we got another subscriber.
Okay, yeah, I just did. I thought I was. Maybe with my home email.
Oh, okay. Good,
Awesome.
good. All right. Well, thank you both. I appreciate you both.
Thank you, Jose. Always.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my God. Bye.